So let's start drawing. So we can, for example, start with drawing a line. So we would type in just under background, we would type line, open parentheses, maybe 20, 20, 100, 100, and a comma between each number. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, that's because the background is still black. So I'm going to change that to gray just so we can see. There we go. So I've just changed the background value to 200. And now we have a line, which is by default black. So that's why I couldn't see it at first. All right, so I've just stepped into our little whiteboard here. But so what do those numbers mean? So when you think of a line would always have 2 points. So it would have a start point and an end point. Every point that is on a canvas would have what is called an X and a Y coordinate. So this point has an X and a Y, and the other one also has an X and a Y. I've chosen a very bad color, so there, fixed it. That point's got an X and a Y, and this point's got an X and a Y. The X value of a point is where it sits on the horizontal plane of your canvas, whereas the Y value is where it sits on the vertical axis. Okay, the drawing tool moves pixel by pixel, right? Coordinate by coordinate. So what we're saying is draw a line starting from, so that start point there, from 20 by 20. So that's the start X and the start Y. Those values there would be 20, 20 to 100. So end X and end Y. So these guys here, so that's 100 and 100. The 0x, 0y point is at the top left of your either preview panel or canvas, basically. So this is where 0, 0 would sit. Further to the right you go, the higher your x value would be. The further downwards you go, the higher your y value would be. Yeah, so that's the gist of sort of how x and y positions work. So if we go back here and we alter those numbers to maybe give them all a higher value, so maybe go 50, 50, and then 200, 200. So I've added the x and y values of both points, and then they're going to move further away from the top left, the starting point. Let's try drawing a circle. You can put a circle. Let's put it 100, 100, 200, 200. Let's see where that puts it. Ah, there it is. You can also put in a rectangle or a square, and the command for that is rect, so rect. We can also put it, 100, 100, maybe 50 by 50, and then see what that gives us. Yeah, and that gives us a perfect little square there. So you can see all of this in, again, the p5.js website under reference. So the formula to draw an ellipse or a circle is the x and y placement of the circle, and then the width and the height. So the same with the rectangle. Yep, so same deal. You can even add radiuses. And so we'll keep going back to the reference page if you want to try new things as well. And so, of course, if I wanted to make this rectangle wider, I would add the width value. Let's try it to 200. And then there you go. The main difference in how a circle and a rectangle or a square is drawn. So see how they're both at 100x and 100y here. The x and y value of a circle is its center point. And so 100, 100 is about there. Whereas for rectangles or squares, the x and y value is their top left corner. So that's the main difference. For example, your circle, if you want to place it at the very center of your canvas, what you can do is using the window width and window height values. So if you put in window width divided by 2, window height divided by 2, it's going to sit perfectly at the center of your canvas, because that's the width divided by 2, so at the very center, and then the height divided by 2, so at the very center. So even if we preview this full screen, let me save it first, and then share full screen. As you can see, the circle is perfectly at the center. So now it's responsive. So no matter what the size of your window is, it's going to know to sit right at the center. But highly recommend putting the window width and the window height to your advantage to if you put it into the values of these shapes. And then they're going to stay relative to whatever window or device you're on. Another shape we can try is the triangle. So it's a bit longer, this one. I would go triangle. Let's try 30, 30. So you need 6 values in this case. So 30, 30, 130. I'm sort of just winging it. Let's see what that gives us. Ah, yeah, there it is. This is sort of a compounded. So you know how a line would have like 2 points, and each point would have an x and a y. So that's x, y, x, y of both points of the line. And so a triangle is basically the same, except of course you have a third point. And so that's why you've got this compounded, x1, like the first x and y, the second x and y, and then the third x and y. So for the time being, let this sit, have a play with different values, how you can incorporate the window width and window height to these shapes, place them anywhere on your canvas, try previewing them full screen. Again, how you do that is you go File, Share, and then full screen right here. You can just click that, have a play, and in the next video, we're going to discuss how to put color and stroke weights and all sort of style settings into these shapes as well. See you then.